I know you got to run, Norm, because you actually have a screening. Which can I just say, this whole VR virtual festival thing, the screening, it doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense. First of all, you got to get your tickets. You could sell unlimited tickets. It's like I think Slamdance got it right. It's $10 and you get it's $10, slamdance.com. You get to see all the movies. Sundance, you have to see it at a certain time. I don't know if that works for me. Can we have a window of time that we can watch the movie? I know they're trying to run it like it's like Sundance. It's not like Sundance. It's online. It's streaming. I feel like that could be another topic for us. Like,
I think we'll talk about
5 hour.
Monday.
I thought it said like 5 hours once you start it.
Yeah, and the Bill Cosby doc is 4 hours long. It's a series, and so I stopped it to come here because I want to watch it. But...
Well, I'm sorry to explain at the end. He's in jail.
Yeah.
He goes to jail at the end of the doc.
I think he's
spoiler alert.
I'm just saying that,
spoiler alert.
You can only mimic so many aspects of reality to the point where it just gets ridiculous. Like the land acknowledgements, where who knows where people are watching it. That's illogical. The window times. Just move the festival to the summer, out of flu season, Sundance. I'm gonna stay on this for a while because this doesn't make sense. Start to make your decisions with some sense of logic. Otherwise, you're destroying the experience for filmmakers. The sponsors are not happy, and this doesn't make any sense. A virtual film festival might work for a smaller. I think Slamdance got it right. I feel like the way that Sundance is doing it is they're trying to mimic the experience of being at the festival, which cannot be mimicked on a Zoom call. These are all freaking Zoom calls, including what we're doing now. That's my fear.
There's a fear that the value of going to Sundance is going to be diminished, and if it keeps going this way, was it?
It's already too expensive. It's too expensive. We used to go to Sundance in the early 2000s. We'd get a condo, a huge one. We'd have 8 people stuffed in the condo. Everybody had to do at least 3 reviews a day. We would review more than half of the movies playing at Sundance and Slamdance.
But my point. Yeah, my point is, what now does it mean to say, hey, my film played at Sundance? That's if we continue to go down this route, what is the value of having the Sundance laurels compared to everyone else?
Well, if they're going to be virtual next year, I just feel like it doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. Maybe they need to have 2 festivals. Maybe a winter and a spring or summer, something. But if Sundance is going to remain relevant, they need to make some changes. They need to make some dramatic changes. They need to look at some of the other conversations that we've had, and begin to take a serious look at where they're going as a festival. Because in my opinion, they're becoming less and less relevant. Yeah. It's not as important as an indie filmmaker to have your movie at Sundance, because you can just put your movie out. You could take all the resources and money you would have spent on a little festival tour, and you can just put that into marketing, and you can go and sell your movie. Additionally, streaming services, I think, have diminished the relevance of festivals. I mean, really start to ask these questions, which is why I will never be on a panel at Sundance, because they don't want someone with my kind of ideas actually speaking out. So whatever. I've always been sort of a pariah at Sundance.
There's sort of an irony going on right now with Sundance too, with their focus on oppressed people and giving acknowledgement to everyone in society who's never had any type of spotlight in a town like every mountain town, because that's where I'm living, is unaffordable to everyone. The pandemic struck. All the wealthy people in every city went to every mountain town across the country
or beach.
And now there's no place for the people who work and live in those mountain towns to live anymore. They can't afford it. In fact, if you were smart enough, you sold out and retired because you could. And so I don't understand how Sundance can be the festival it's supposed to be. And I love it. A lot of my life has poured into it. And I've met so many amazing people because of the event. But now it's not honoring its purpose. And as you said, independent filmmakers, our Sundance is its, crown jewel, yet it's not serving the audience it's supposed to. And there are a million other festivals that do, and it's affordable and it's fun and they want you on a panel.
Well, it's Sundance is, it's sort of this nonstop, and I feel like you can get lost in the shuffle. You can be a small indie with no stars, very really amazing movie. You can play at the Egyptian at midnight, and no one will see it, and you're not going to get it. Or you can go to a small film festival in Idaho, Boise, or somewhere. No, seriously, I might actually, you know what? I might actually be going to Boise, Idaho for a film festival in
which one?
End of March. It's
oh yeah. Oh, you saw that note.
Are you going to Treefort?
Yes, Film Fort.
Yeah, let's talk about that. I've been involved.
We'll talk about it because they invited me to attend. More than likely, I'll attend. But real quick, so is Sundance still relevant? I feel like it's the audience. I don't know who the audience is anymore, right? It's I don't know who the audience is anymore, right? Because it's incredibly expensive to go. Like I say, in the early 2000s, we get a condo, we could all afford it. It wasn't a big deal. Now it's like we have to look at like, oh shoot, like with flights and everything, we might as well just drive, and we'll drive 11 hours from LA to go there. And then we have to get a condo that's way outside of town to even to be able to afford. And we're not talking so cheap. We're talking about like $3,000 for 5-night stay.
Oh, yeah.
And then driving.
I live 4 hours away, so it's not a big deal to go. And I know a lot of people. I have clients in Park City. I know that place. I've been writing about it for 15 years. I couldn't even find a place to stay. And that's when I said to Alan, I'm not going. Like, to fight for tickets, to get tested every 2 days. It's so much time to even go to a film. Putting that, I'm like, what are they thinking?
Well, that's Sabina. All. I mean, look, Sundance is always virtue signaled, but now it's like it's off the charts. Yeah. It's off the charts where it's hurting the experience, it's hurting the festival, and it's leaving out. Look, let me be honest with you. Let me just tell it like it is. It is a festival for rich white people. All right. I've always thought that. I've thought it since the 90s. This is rich. I could never afford to go to the ski club when I was in high school because I didn't know it at the time. I grew up pretty poor, single mom. I was poor. You know what? Didn't care. I was loved by my family. That mattered more than stuff and more than going to the ski club. But now I see it and it's just like, oh, wow, this is just, I would go to these festivals like this is the rich white people festival. And they like to think of themselves as virtuous because they're lifting up the small oppressed people that can't help themselves. That's the mindset, and it's freaking pandering bullshit.
As someone who actually founded a film festival in my hometown here, that's exactly why I kind of left the board years ago, because when we started it in 1998, it was to bring voices to young filmmakers. We were all in our 20s, and we said, let's get these local filmmakers and national films on here or around here, because we just didn't have it. It was a cultural wasteland. So we built one. We had it, for the next 10 years, we put stuff in education, and it grew and it grew and it gained in popularity. And then the board became even 10 years later, I was still the youngest person on the board of directors. And I was it was all white. And now we are in a vacation destination here. So it now serves the purpose of just having an outlet for these people who own second beach homes down in this area here, and they can tell all their friends to come to the beach house for the weekend and go see all these films that were like previously playing in New York and Philadelphia and so on and so forth. And it actually lost all the purpose that it was founded on, and that was to be as a voice for the community, for the indigenous population here, for the young filmmakers, everything.
Rob, we have similar stories. I founded the Sun Valley Film Festival. I was the first director. I sat on the board. I walked away. I'm like, what just happened? What just happened here? Boutique festival for the wealthy? Put your films in, pay for it to be there? Sure, it's fun partying all day long, but who are we serving?
Isn't that why most rich people most rich people? Oh wait, Norm, you got to go. Any final thoughts on this, Norm?
Bye, Norm.
Say something.
I have to go cover a movie.
Okay, but any final thoughts on this before you leave?
No, I
All right.
There's lots to think about here.
Monday.
And
We'll bring it up on Monday.
Love you, Norm. Love you, Norm. Take care.
all right, guys.
Later, sir.
Adios.
Good seeing you
Adios.
again, Norm.
Later. Take care. Back to this. I just feel like it's why do rich people invest in the arts, right? And it's so they can brag to their friends.
And
They
feel
can
good
brag
about
to their friends
themselves
of
without
like,
actually having to do something.
without actually having to do something.
Right
It's like, look, I gave $100,000 to this movie. I hope this movie gets into Sundance so I can go to the party.
That's
And
it.
they get the executive producer credit. I feel like there's a lack of honesty in the indie film world about how all this stuff works.
Mhm.
And there's a really interesting comment that was put before we even started going live about Sundance sort of being fixed. I've always felt that aspects of Sundance are like a professional wrestling match where the outcome is determined before the event takes place, meaning where a movie is going to sell is pre-negotiated before the movie even premieres at Sundance. The news is held until Sundance, so that like this movie sold to Netflix. I mean, that was negotiated in November. The movie already was in, and then it plays Sundance, and it's announced during the week, the 10 days of, whatever, the 2 weeks of Sundance, right? It's announced then. And they save those announcements for then. It's like, it's just, I've seen it. It's like, I used to go wide-eyed in the 90s when I would go to Sundance and think, this is just all about small filmmakers like Kevin Smith, who sold this movie on a napkin, which is a true story, by the way. And they just worked hard, and it's all about merit. And no, it's about people It's about people getting in. And there are slots set aside for certain distributors and people and they're a much, much smaller of like a movie that just got in because it was a cool movie and some programmer probably at a lower level fought for it. Fought for that movie. And those are the movies that I love to champion and let people know about. And usually the ones that are most worthwhile in the end. So I question, like, every year, to me, Sundance is like, they're making this crazy decision. It's not if you care about the messages in these indie films, you would care about the maximum number of people seeing it, the maximum number. So so I don't know. I feel like Sundance is becoming more and more insular, a club, a smaller club that I feel like I used to be a part of. I used to be a part of the club. I'm not really a part of that. I don't know that I ever really was, but in any case, I'm curious your thoughts, and I want to get to the comments too.
Yeah, let me ask you this question though. But I think of the movie For Your Consideration, where is there a point where filmmakers are going to say, if I want to get into Sundance, make sure we have this message, make sure we have this, and so there's this checklist we have to go down our movie in order to get that chance. And do you feel like we're at that point, or we're getting to that point?
I don't know. What are your guys' thoughts on that? I don't know if I feel so strongly. What do you think?
I think that this is such a multi-pronged conversation.
Yeah.
One is, you need exhibition scenarios for independent filmmakers. It's so important for artists to have a place for their work to be shown. And unfortunately, in a pandemic, we're doing it virtually, but they're doing the best they can. I think Film Threat serves an amazing purpose for independent filmmakers and people who love the business. They want to know our general opinion. They know that we are pretty much writing what we think. It's fully honest. And I think that Sundance, being one of the founding independent film festivals of 25 years, I think, or 26.
No, since 1985.
1985. So I think that they what Robert Redford started is still there, but it's morphed in a way that business has made industry too, and business. I mean, the state of Utah supports Sundance. That's where a lot of their money's coming from. That state needs the festival because of the money it brought in, especially before the pandemic. So there are so many things that are now connected to the survival and success of these types of events. And so it's these multi-pronged things. And now, how do you take that down? It's not a house of cards. It's political also. And so I think Sundance is trying to find its way and navigate the 21st century of what we're doing with so much material too. And series, web series, and the shorts world, and they don't, it's how do you do it all? And I think that it's no one's done it. They're forging a ground. But you're very right, Chris. It's that who are we serving? Who's benefiting? And if things have already been done before you get to the festival, what's the point?
I just feel there's a lot of stuff that in my having gone to Sundance for years that seems very pandering and a bit irritating. I want to get to some of these comments real quickly. Shanatsky says, it always was a club. You said it yourself. You were an outsider. They're just no longer hiding it. Shanatsky said something earlier. It's the trophy mentality. They'll give you a banana sticker, but keep you out of the penthouse. I love banana stickers. Let's not
especially if they're scratch and sniff.
Like banana. Hate to break it to you.
Commenting on your T-shirt, Rob. Love that everything is a remix shirt. True. Unfortunately, insert applicable R word. People with Shanatsky again. People with money now want their messages out there no matter what, instead of just I funded that. And someone Dane Fagerholm says, "Good morning, sirs and misses." Good morning, Dane.
Good afternoon.
Yeah. So. I don't know. Is Sundance still relevant? I think that in general, I think festivals are less relevant. Filmmakers have discovered that there are multiple pathways towards success. Festivals are one pathway. There's a documentary I'm working on that'll be out later this year. We're not showing it at film festivals. We're probably going to show it at comic conventions and just release it on VOD with a couple of key screenings, but that's it. We're not going the festival route. Then there's another movie coming out we're going to submit to festival. This is going to completely derail this documentary we have.
It's not going to be at Sundance, I can tell you that.
It's not going to be at Sundance now. The Film Threat
you ruined it for us.
The Film Threat Sucks documentary, which has been in the works for like a decade now.
Killed it right now. I'm getting it at Sundance.
Hey, you know what? Whatever. I'm honest. If anyone has shot themselves in the foot with their career more than anyone else, that would probably be me. So, I guess I could be more Film Threat, or even myself could be more successful if I feel like I could sort of bend over to whatever the corporate sponsor interests are, but I don't give a fuck. So there you go.
You can't take one for the team, really.
No, I love my team. I love everyone at Film Threat. We have such a great, it's so weird how different everyone is at Film Threat, but we all like get along and like to laugh and hang out and talk about movies, and we're all very different, and who cares? Like, I love that. So
just as Sabina said, I mean, the now that it has become from an event to an industry or a business, that there are so many lives that are dependent on the success of it. It's like now we have gender reveal parties, and there are people who coordinate those for you, or the wedding industry where, you have to have a specialist who plans all of it and who brings it all together. I mean, it's kind of the same thing. It's this event that has turned into more than just a singular event. It is now a self-sustaining being entity.
Well, so I would say this, some of that is not Sundance's fault. It's the circus that is outside of Sundance. When you go up Main Street and you see this lounge and the thing, and I'm not even going to mention them, but there's all like this lounge and this, and there's the gifting suite only for the celebrities. I mean, it's like, it always would bug me. I mean, you see it a lot when it comes to award shows and stuff. You see like all the help is masked, but the celebrities are not, because, science, I guess, which fucking annoys me. Any sort of like disparity. And I saw it at Sundance. It's always been there, and now it's so freaking obvious. It's just I don't know, aspects of that kind of sick, which is why I always just like hanging out with like just regular people, which thankfully there are a lot of regular people that happen to also be filmmakers, so whatever. We should move on to the next next review. But before we do, let me get to Shanatsky's comment. Talk about Six String Samurai. When are we getting Six String Samurai 2? Six String Samurai, which played at Slam Dance. And I think there was a quote from Film Threat on the poster. Yeah, Six String Samurai, really great little small indie action movie. Really great film. But